Catch Pro Australia on the set of Lawn Care Skull Sessions, the most unprofessional podcast in the universe.
In the universe?
With the homie TVL Property Maintenance, the bearded lawnsman, however you want to say it. Looking very festive today for joining us on YouTube.
Oh, g'day. The only reason I look like this is because I was caught in a torrential rainstorm and Kmart was quite close. And look at me now, man. Look at me now.
Big Daryl Roman.
Yeah,
oh no, he's Lowe's.
At Lowe's.
Yeah, he's at Lowe's.
Speaking about unprofessional, check it out. We're down to one mic. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, so everyone that's listening, I'm just going to try and talk really loud. But seems like we've left a mic somewhere.
Yeah, look, more than likely it's probably at my house.
Give it back, Ripsky, you dog.
Yeah, we fucking last episode was with Paul and Ben.
See, we go off site once and then we fuck everything.
Maybe they fucking kept it as a sous vide.
Yeah.
That's alright. Fucking how was your Christmas?
Look, Christmas was it's been okay. I wouldn't say it's my favourite holidays that I've had. Not that I take holidays, but obviously the kids are off and I try and do as much work as I can at night and we try and do some day trips and things like that. But mate, the weather's been fucking awful on the East Coast. Which has kind of snaked us a bit.
Yeah.
We got some mad flooding, as some people would have seen on the gram.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looked pretty fucked, dude. Is there any permanent damage, or you just gotta wait for it to dry out as usual?
No, look, no permanent damage. Just like, I don't know. I really like my yard, and I don't have the nicest yard already. When it's nice, it's because I've made it nice, and then this just kind of wrecks it. But man, I got way bigger problems right now, so I'm not gonna trip on it too hard. How about you, mate?
Oh yeah, fucking. So I'm gonna sound like a real fucking see you next Tuesday because this is a very first world kind of problem. But we went on a cruise and I didn't like it. I'm not a cruiser. There were a few things that I liked about it, but yeah, all in all it was pretty fucking av. The service was whack. Fucking tried to go to the casino, had to wait 45 minutes before we could even fucking have a bet. And we only had one night without the kids, so fucking I just sat there and got shit-faced. It was wild. Unless you want to put your kids in fucking kids club on... this is just one ship, the Pacific Explorer from P&O. There was nothing for the kids to do unless you chuck them in kids club or take them for a swim. So when there's 3 days at sea...
Any chicks?
It was kind of a Logan cruise. So it was pretty fucking wild, man. Like, there's some bogan people on that cruise. Yeah. I'm a fucking bit of a shit cunt myself, but
I don't even have shoes on right now.
I don't have shoes on either. They're in the back of my ute trying. But no, there was some like the islands were beautiful. Duty free is fucking mad. New Caledonia, we got like fucking 3, 4, 5, nearly 5 litres of booze for like $140. Like 3 bottles of vodka and 2 bottles of bourbon for $140.
That would be enough to last me like 2 years.
Yeah, I fucking got stuck back into it. But yeah, it was good. It was good to be home though. Like, we obviously, we took off and the whole reason we went on an overseas holiday was to try and, I don't know, soften the blow of not having Ella here over Christmas, and it was just a fail because you can't run away from those sort of problems. So
not something that I'm able to relate to. But yeah, I mean, you just do what you can do.
Well, you got to do what you got to do to get through, mate.
That's right. Yeah. So exciting news for Catch Pro. A little bit contradictory.
Oh, okay.
We became an agent for Segway Navimo.
Oh shit!
So
is it because your big dog here fucking rolling around with a robo mower now?
Well, I mean, look, I've made no bones about it that this robot mower concept, I've sort of always looked at it and, wondered, how can, this is just me as a business owner, Catch Pro Australia, how can we support this concept but make money off it?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it really was true. The more people that were looking at a situation like a robot mower, the less catch pro shit they need to buy.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So
Oh,
what?
me.
Yeah, cracking, brother.
Yeah.
What I was personally struggling with is that Catch Pro has always been at the forefront of innovation.
Yeah.
In terms of equipment and the industry and everything. So I sort of backed myself into a corner that I thought, look, I need to get out of this now.
Yeah.
And lucky enough, my mates over at PLP are representing a fantastic brand, something that you're demoing right now. And, you know, the opportunity came up. So we will actually be shipping directly, but we don't actually buy our stock. We're actually doing this with Southside Mower Centre.
Oh, nice.
So any locals,
Daddy.
yeah, Dan the man, and he is the fucking man.
He's,
right?
yeah.
You know, you'll be able to go in there and, you know, view stock. However, you can purchase it from us straight online, and Southside Mower Centre will also get, they'll get their margins.
Yep.
So we're sort of working with the dealer.
Sweet.
But also being able to have it available online, as you know,
Cool.
we don't have a shop. I actually do have some more exciting news, but I'm going to keep it on the low for now.
Oh, fucking hell.
So yeah, I know. I'll give you all the half mongrel, but might be a little bit early to sort of pop that one.
Pop my cherry.
Yeah, oh mate, it's never too
Oh, yeah,
early.
you want to know
You
what?
lost that cherry.
I did pop me cherry. I got fucking COVID. That's another reason why fucking cruise life isn't for me. Fucking rolled back home with the vid.
We may have actually had it in our household as well. Like my parents had it, so it really got out and about at Christmas.
Bro, there's more people with COVID now than that I know personally than in the height of the pandemic.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking crazy.
So I actually came down with a little something myself, but wasn't too bad.
And hence why we waited this long to fucking get together, because I had COVID, and then a really good opportunity popped up for me, and yeah, I had to grab it with both hands and fuck the shit out of it. So
Closed a big contract.
yeah, so I'm currently mowing some parks and a waterfront, and it's like
20 kilometres of coastline.
it's not a small section, so it's actually good fun. I love it. This is the kind of thing that I want to do. It's kind of allowed me to look at different options moving forward, and where I want to go in business. But the good thing is it fits in with everything. I've dropped a few shit customers, and look, and it's another occasion where, not word of mouth, but you know, networking.
Who you know?
Yeah, networking fucking got me across the line again. So
Well, let's give everyone an example of this story. Now, there's a mob here that essentially they mow my whole suburb. Now, BJ has actually met these dudes.
yeah,
But they've made their home base behind my place. Nothing to do with me, but they've made their home base there. And, you know, just through all knowing each other, here's BJ with, you know, basically a subcontract that worked out pretty nicely,
fuck
right?
yeah, dude.
So
Very,
it just
very
goes to show that, you know, advertising is fantastic, but, you know, so often, and we've all heard, you know, we all know, you know, everything. I've got from Shorey and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So who you know is a big part of it.
Exactly. Actually, funny story about Shorey. The other day, I fucking messaged him for a contact for an irrigation specialist, and I thought, oh, Shorey will do it. So
They did the one in the mansion.
Yeah,
which
so-
was fucking high tech when they did it.
yeah, so like I was like, yeah, Shorey will be keen, and he must have had a few whiskies or a few somethings, and he's written back. He's like, here's my pest control guy. I was like, whoa, I don't think that's what I need, dude. So I messaged him back. He's like, oh, sorry, bro.
Well, I went. He had like a little end of year Christmas do,
Yeah.
and I went there. So it was a work party. I went there. Oh, my kids and Vicky were there.
Yeah.
Man, sure it was maggot as a like, but he's a really awesome drunk.
Yeah.
But he brought out this shotgun with tequila in it, and there's a hand grenade with something else in it.
Jesus.
So yeah, he was trying to do Jaeger bombs.
Fuck. That's
He's
wild.
so fucking.
He's just loosey goosey, eh?
Oh, he had the hugest shot glass. And he was trying to dump it into a thing of beer, a cup of beer, because the girth of it was so big. As soon as he was taking a drink, he was just copping the whole
shot.
The whole Jaeger. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
The girth was too big. That's something I'll never hear. But yeah, man. Other than that, like getting back to it after the Christmas and New Year's breaks, fucking what is going on? It's like someone's fertilised like all the suburbs in Brisbane.
Oh man, it's crazy. Like if anyone is, I mean, I can't speak for all markets, but certainly within the southeast Queensland range, my goodness, there must be some money to be made right now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
if you started your business this year, you've picked a good year to kick it off, because if you started like me, December 24th, like was my last day at work, and the week after New Year's, I got fucking stuck straight into it, and
I mean, it's the 12th of January, and I'm pretty sure I've already mowed my lawn 4 times.
yeah, and
I was being held up by water.
I was shook, bro. There's grass out there with seed heads about a foot high.
Yeah, well, I haven't.
I don't mean shame now. I feel bad now. I'm sorry.
No, I haven't done the paddock.
Yeah, okay. Too wet?
Oh, it's been mostly because I just haven't really had the time.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, put it this way, I actually side discharged my backyard.
Ooh, fancy.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah. No catch pro. No catch pro on.
So, I side through it.
You vacuumed it, didn't you?
A little bit of, yeah, I vacuumed.
Yeah, of course you did.
But mate, she was proper waterlogged.
Dude, I
was actually going through water.
Well, even today, that's something I'll have to ask on LMCA is what do people wash their machines down with when they're working near salt water? Because I'm doing the waterfront now. With all the shit that's going on, it's fucking, obviously going to get a bit salty. So is there some sort of boat
throw it in the gutter and go and buy another?
Yeah, fucking yeah. Hey, free mate. It's fucking. So if there's any, I don't know, that Captain Salties, I've seen that on fucking Instagram, and it comes with a foam gun, and you're like, it's for your boats. Maybe I can hit the machines with that.
It's never really even been anything that I looked at or considered. So
well, fuck me then.
I mean, if you got as long as it's not.
I'm mowing seaweed. There must have been some big king tides.
Oh yeah,
because there's fucking seaweed and shit everywhere. Yeah, and because I'm mowing around the waterfront, there's all, because you know how many creeks there are, and I'm mowing all the parks that have creeks in them, so they've all been flooded with salt water. Hasn't fucking stopped it growing though. Like,
Anyways, today we thought we'd kick off 2024 speaking about price increases.
Oh yeah.
Now, we're probably not going to be able to spend as much time and probably go into a ton of depth, but I did see some social media posts about, one particular person had put a small price increase, like it might have ended up being like say $5 on a job, on like a $60 job or whatever. And they were losing clients left, right and centre.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it just kind of got me thinking, as an industry, obviously, everyone's going to be different because it's unregulated industry.
Yep.
But, when are people doing their price increases? What do we think is a perfect month?
Yeah.
Or a time of year? I certainly have my own... suggestions.
Yep.
Now, in Greenscape Solutions, which was my business back when I was doing it, price increases weren't something that we did very often.
Yeah.
It was more something, I see stuff on social media and people are like, we raise our prices every year, or we raise our prices maybe it might even be twice a year.
Yep.
And what I'm wondering is, why aren't contractors, thinking forward Like, I know we have gone through inflation and,
Yeah.
and you know, some of this stuff. But really, like, if you're quoting new jobs regularly, you should have at least 24 months there where you don't need to put up the price. I think it looks bad as a business if you put that price up within the first 12 months.
I think,
And I think if
maybe-
you underquoted, shame on you.
Yeah, I think an annual price rise is not out of the question in the current climate. I think when I first started out, there's no chance. I do think that the way that inflation is going, or has gone in the past, I think it's calmed down and it's potentially going to start to ease up soon. Thank fuck for that. But yeah, I think an annual one in this kind of climate is okay. But I think you're right in terms of, like, if you fucked up and you misquoted a job, I think, you know, you kind of got to cop it for a little while. I mean, you can definitely talk to your customers.
Absolutely.
I think
look,
being open and
sometimes
honest and being like, hey, I can't give you this much service for this much money. It just doesn't, it's not going to work for me. And if that's the case.
And I think if you have fucked up, you know, there isn't anything wrong with exactly what BJ said, and just communicating with the client and saying, oh geez, you know, I probably just didn't realise that the lawn would be this thick.
Yeah.
Or I didn't realise maybe we're in a high growth area. Because, you know, different species of grass do grow so much quicker.
Yeah.
Like, if you've got any sort of buffalo clients, they grow off their tits, but there's a couple of weeks of a year when they're growing really hard where you can actually get away with just tipping it and it kind of looks the same-ish. And then when it's not as intense, you can kind of bring it back down a little bit.
Yeah.
But, you know, some of those, like, say, rental properties
Yeah.
where, like, the edges aren't perfect already and...
Well, now doing parks, like, I've realised that there's like 5 or 6 types of grass that I mow on, you know, any sort of fucking park.
That's right, and even at the 40 acres
And
it was like
yeah,
that,
and at the
right?
40
So
acres,
remember the blue cooch paddock?
Yeah, dude.
We always used to make Rusty do it.
You should see it. It's about a foot underwater now. You cruise through and you're going through all this beautiful native buffalo and it's just spitting for miles, and then you'll hit this fucking 6-inch thick cooch just out of nowhere, and I'll be like,
Yeah, it's just
Barley
brutal.
road.
Yeah.
but yeah, like mowing the parks and stuff, I've noticed that, yeah, not all grass types cut the same.
Oh gosh. No.
So, I mean, I obviously knew that, but when you're doing a park, like, you don't want to leave. Like, I hate leaving stragglers. I want people to drive down the waterfront and go, oh, that's fucking nice.
Yeah.
So I want everything to look pristine, and yeah, that's one of the things. Like, I think like price increases and stuff are probably one of the hardest things that I've had to come to terms with in my business. I know that sounds weird because, you know, dealing with customers is a daily thing, but when you're hitting them up for more money, I don't know, it just seems weird to me, and it's never really been
and
my favourite thing to do.
And I think in terms of like times of year, I definitely think anywhere from summer is bad.
I think summer's the best time.
No, and the reason why I'm saying this is
Tell me.
when you get BJ and I, we haven't discussed our thoughts, okay? So we're freestyling this on air.
Yeah.
But this is what I think. I think so summer is the 1st of December.
Yeah.
I think if you are trying to increase anything past November, then everyone is getting prepared for Christmas.
Yeah.
And people are getting prepared for Christmas earlier and earlier every year. You know, people are buying Christmas presents for their kids, like sometimes in August.
Yeah.
Because they want to be super prepared. It's also, not only do you have Christmas, but people generally are saving for holidays, and not really thinking about putting money into their homes. I've always thought and this is what we always did. We always did it in between the end of the financial year and the 1st of September.
Okay.
That's when we always did it, because everyone essentially has rounded up their tax year.
Yeah.
They're getting some cash flow in, you know, getting tax returns, rada. Because it's a new financial calendar, that's when, as a business, you should be able to go in and justify it. And we should be running our businesses from the financial calendar anyway.
Yeah.
So it should be like, okay, that financial year's wrapped up, we've got our profit and loss. What jobs have we lost on? Where can we improve? Rah, rah, rah. And so I think that is a great period, especially because in terms of financial stress for, residential, like if you're looking at body corporate, and any sort of strata work, you will not be able to just email them and say, hey, we're putting the price up. Like, the committee needs to vote on that shit.
Unless it's a loose agreement. Like, I've got one village I could, and...
Well, there are exceptions where they have flying minutes and they do all sorts of things, but I just don't think a lot of people are going to be too rushed to be like, oh, we're going to call a fucking, once-off meeting to discuss your... Yeah, so usually those committees will meet up 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And you'd probably more than likely want to be catching them. Look, I think what usually they will ask you.
Yeah.
But because they have to do their budgets, you would probably be looking at it around March.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much when shit goes down for the...
Because they need to do their forecast for the next financial year. So I think just, like, even though the summertime gets really intense and when you're in the moment, you're like, fuck this, I need more money from this job or whatever. I think if you're doing routine price rises, I just don't think in between November and March is a very... I don't think you've got that safety blanket there.
So we normally pick like the last week of the last week of January. Because it's normally in the thick of it. And this is only for residential, like my body corps don't come into this at all, but it's all residential and acreage. So we would pick the last week of January because we're in the thick of it. They know how hard we have working, and they're not going to find someone else to do it cheaper, because most of the people around my area and most of the people who compete with the same work for the same work as me are friends of mine, and I know how much they charge because they tell me straight up. They're like, I'll get a call. They'll be like, if you get a call for this property, I've gone in at this price. Just fucking, they're not happy with that. So either price underneath it or price the same or above, and you might get it or might not. So I've got customers now that I've priced the same as people I know, and we've got it just because we were there before, or I don't know. But yeah, I think that last week of January, just because what the fuck are they going to do? I mean, the Cowboys are out in force.
Yeah, I think that's something to consider.
You see a post go up on fucking Facebook and it just goes berserk. Like, fucking 50 comments for a fucking $30 lawn. And I get it. That's how I hustled when I started as well. But I'm sort of out of that now. I don't have to do that. But yeah, it's pretty intense. So I do get what you're saying, but
if someone's increasing a $70 lawn by $5, and is it really worth letting the cowboy get the job?
Yeah, well, I don't think
for it, rather than look.
It depends.
What's done is done. We're only talking about. There's a lot of new people entering our industry.
Yeah.
And we do have a lot of newbie followers and listeners.
I get the way you work for the stratas. I just think for residentials, especially trying to increase anywhere when in the cooler months, what the fuck? Why would you do that? It's not growing now. How do you justify charging more for it?
What we always did and what I still think is true, what I actually believe, is that you send all of your emails out and the price increase begins in the 1st of September.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the way, and toward the end of, we actually made it the 1st of October that it would be effective.
How much notice did you give them?
We would always look at it at the end of our financial year, which, let's face it,
whenever you get your tax done.
Yeah, like it's yeah. But I do think when people are in holiday mode, when there's extra stresses, it's very easy for someone to be caught on the wrong foot.
Yeah.
And simply reply back, "Don't worry, we'll look for someone else."
Yeah. Yeah, okay, and I feel bad for that dude. He's like, yeah, I did my first price increases, and fucking a few of the people had just bailed straight away, which is very unfortunate. Like,
and that's another thing too. Like, I don't know how long he'd actually been in business, but I do think that doing first price increases within 12 months, like you'd want to be doing a pretty mad job.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like you'd want to have built that customer relationship pretty significantly if you got, because let's face it, these clients, like in 12 months, they probably only see you 20 times.
yeah,
I mean, or less.
yeah,
So it's not that much. It's not that long to have a service and be like, fuck, really?
yeah, yeah.
You know,
true.
like
Yeah.
you've only cut it 17 times. What the
Yeah,
hell?
they don't really. Yeah, it doesn't compute when they don't see you every day. So in regards to price rises, did you have a set amount when you did yours?
No, so
Or you looked at the job,
everyone works on percentages, which would be correct. But for me, and look, this podcast also shouldn't be about what you or I did
No,
or
not at
do.
all.
It should be a general
Oh,
discussion.
fuck, to be honest,
it's just to get the wheels moving.
it's only been the last kind of 3 years where I've actually looked at my numbers at all. Like I'm not a numbers guy. I didn't know what my staff were costing me or anything. And that's a thing of the past now. But I was just fucking cruising through, and like I was making money, so I was happy. Like my bank was getting larger, and
It's the
my
opposite
equipment was going
situation.
up,
It was the
so-
opposite situation for me. Like, you know, I'm the last, like, probably 36 months of Greenscape Solutions' actual existence was just keeping Russell going.
yeah,
And obviously, there was some cream there.
yeah,
But, you know, were we ever looking at the actual numbers? No. I mean, it even got to the point where I was getting phone calls and I was like, just telling Rusty to go and do whatever he wanted.
yeah,
You know, where I get nothing.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, well now it's different.
and times have changed a lot since I left the industry, the working part of the industry, times have changed a lot. So I'm very outdated.
Yeah, the information that's come down the pipeline from bigger guys and the networking that I've done, especially with people like Dale Pakenham and like even Rob Shearer. I know he's not a contractor, but his business mind is next level. So, and Dale is just a wealth of knowledge. Like I love talking to him because I learn something every time. But yeah, now I know like exactly how much my staff cost me, how much profit margin I have out of everything. And like before, I don't know what kind of business I was running. I was like, how the fuck was I rolling so good? But you know, I just gotta take that as a win. Like
even put it this way, like even if you look at the Catch Pro grass catcher, we have never lifted the price
yeah, that's true.
since 2018, since they first came out.
Fucking whinging.
People don't really whinge about the price of the Catch Pro necessarily, but I mean, I was supposed to do the price increase 24 months ago, and the only way that I've been able to work around it was just becoming more efficient at what I do.
Yeah.
So,
Did volumes play a part?
volumes played a part, yeah. We were able to sort of keep it a little bit where we were because of volumes.
Yeah.
But it's going to be inevitable with the price of steel.
Yeah. Has that stabled out now, or is it pretty fucking? It fluctuates.
It fluctuates to some degree, but you know, geez, the price of everything.
Yeah.
You know, even cardboard boxes can fuck your life.
Has your sticky tape gone up?
Don't know. That's Vicky would know.
Stayed stable.
I know when I crack the shits and throw one through the wall.
Why? Because it keeps on fucking splitting in half when you pull it out?
Oh, mate. I have some incredible moments with sticky tape.
Yeah.
That would be a funny Instagram reel.
It probably would be. Fucking just put a camera in the corner of you.
You know, you're fucking busy as shit. You just, you know, you've done all the complicated stuff and all you need to do is just tape a box together. But when you have to do 500 of them at once...
Yeah. It's like fucking when you're bipping and you fucking go to reload your speed feed and for some reason the fucking line won't go all the way through the head and you're just there, just look like you're just pounding this fucking thing.
You know why?
You just never get it through.
It's because there's a slight...
Yeah, a bit of a flop in it.
It's got like a half mongrel.
Yeah.
Whereas if it...
And then it hits and it's like...
Yeah.
If you don't hit it, you can break it.
So... no, but back to your original question, I never really messed with percentages. When you're doing body corporate stuff, obviously they have to. Yeah. And they have annual price rises anyway. Yeah. But it's fuck all. It's like, I mean, it was anywhere between 1.5 and 3%. I don't know what it is now.
I don't know what it is now. It depends on the contract. So we have one that's one's an increase on the CPI. Like a whatever the CPI is, we look at it and we'll assess our prices off that.
Yeah.
And then some of them are just straight up, just.
And see, that's an indication to work off as well. Like those CPIs.
It depends on.
They're based on inflation.
Yeah, and it depends on when, like, because the CPI was at something like 8%, and I think we quite
8%.
Yeah, it was like fucking. It was high. Like I fucking.
Oh, 8%. Fucking. That's take that any day.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think we were looking at 1.5 or 3 point something.
Yeah, no, I cleaned up. I put my fucking contracts in at the right time when it was really high, and it's funny, like you say 8% on $40 is fuck all, but when you
that's what I mean.
when you increase like 160,000 just out of fucking thin air, $160,000, you add 8% to that, then it's but you see people. I don't know.
For me, it was always a dollar figure. Like let's say I had a $70 job that I'd been doing for 36 months, or maybe 48 months, and times had really changed, and it's like, geez, this $70 job, fuck, this should be a $90 job.
Yeah.
Which is a huge increase, right?
Yeah.
So that's only an extreme.
Yeah.
Example.
I was with
but like
it was always like $5.
Here's the thing. I mean, look, I almost never raised, like some prices I was doing the same for half a decade.
Yeah.
And I don't see the point in annual price rises.
Yeah.
Okay, it's too much fucking around for the client. It's a lot of fucking around on the business part as well. You're better off quoting the job properly and after 2 to 3 years looking at your first price rise and have it be significant and let that last you then for another couple of years.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think when you're in the body corporate game, it's a little bit different because annually you can look at the CPI and that should almost be enough to get you through if you quoted the job properly.
Yeah, if it's at a decent level. And like I said, like the last CPI was a decent rise, so unfortunately I don't think we'll see one of those again. But we always used to have like a $5 increase. It wasn't huge, and I actually have never lost anyone. So I don't know if back in the day when I was doing a bunch of residential, I just wasn't quoting properly. But I still do one of yours that you fucking just threw at me with I bought some work off Ben, as everyone knows, and Heathers. I still do that.
For, what is it?
Fucking nothing, like
$40.
$40.
Yeah. See, that was a job.
But it's like an in-between. It's like right next door to where I have my lunch, and I literally just fucking drive.
And you just side throw it out.
Yeah, I just side throw that shit.
I used to poison the edges.
I'm about to drop it, because it's fucked.
I used to poison the edges there.
You know what did it? You know what did it for me? When they bought a fucking 12-piece dining set, and put it in the front yard on the grass.
Oh yeah, no, that wouldn't be cool.
Yeah, so every time, and it's glass.
Yeah, I'd be saying something about that.
I'm not saying anything except for bye. Sorry.
But you know, like that job probably would be worth $60 now.
Yeah.
But and I'm gonna say no fuss, even though I'm taking into account this glass table.
Oh, that's a
Before
new,
that,
yeah, it was fucking.
You know what I mean? You just roll in there. You spend. I mean, I used to do that job in 10 minutes.
It's not it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
I do it on the 61. It's literally it's like a 300 square meter block.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. So.
No, but like I was saying, even if you are having a look at your turnover and your profit figures, even if you are raising your prices regularly for that $5 a job or whatever it is, on paper, that's still not going to look very significant.
No.
To your actual business.
It all adds up though.
To your actual business.
Yeah, but if you've got 160 customers and you put all of them up $5.
Yeah, if you have 160 customers, but I mean, that's
like 2 weeks.
That's a proper residential.
Yeah, if you've got two guys. Yeah, I get it. Like I think an annual price increase, I don't think is out of the question, especially if you warn the customer. I think if you're wanting to do an annual, what happened?
I thought that was like a bug crawling on me, and when I moved my head, it started creeping and started marching up.
It was much slug. Yeah, so I think if you warn your customer too about increases, I think an annual increase is fine.
Yeah, I don't like it, everyone.
He doesn't like it?
I don't like annual increases. I just think if you're... I honestly think that the industry is too competitive for it. Yeah?
It's funny actually, like what I said before, like most...
Everyone just has to put themselves in these other people's shoes and imagine if a service that you had, that you were paying for, every 12 months was like, what, another increase? And it's like I can understand why people increase their prices in the last 24 months because Australia did go through a huge inflation crisis.
Yeah.
But even you yourself are saying now it's plateaued. It might go up. I don't know. I mean, it might flatten out. How do you justify the next one?
Yeah, but even if it's plateaued, there's no way unless you're doing like, if you're actually meeting those fucking inflation rates, like everything's gone up, what, from 10 to 14%, 15%, something like that. The customer is not going to absorb all that. So you take a couple of years to catch back up to actually be at that level. So that's why I think annual, I guess, would work, especially the next coming couple of years. Like if you put a price increase, you might actually get to the level where everything else is raised up to as well. So if Woolies, Coles, all these big companies are chucking 14% on everything else, who's to say you don't do 5% one year, 5% the next year, 5% the year after, and then that way you're in line with everything else.
But why do we need to be in line with everything else anyway?
Well, I just think if you're paying 14% more for everything else, then that's obviously going to cut into your lifestyle, it's your business costs. Like insurances have gone through the fucking roof. Just everything just costs more.
Don't get me wrong, like I'm not a hater of people in our industry charging high dollars or wanting to grow their businesses and everything like that. I'm not against that. I know it probably seems like I am. But what I'm really worried about is people in our industry actually going backwards from this.
Like gouging, like getting a bad name for price gouging,
not
like
even in regards to it's just that, like I even know with my own suppliers.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, due to this reason, raw materials gone up with this and we need to sting you for this, And it gets to the point where, there is just other options.
Yeah. But I mean, like, look at everything. We've seen massive price increases on, you know, shipping. So what used to be a container of fucking zero turns used to be $7,000. Then they went up to 22 in the height of COVID, and all of that like had to be passed down the chain to.
Well,
the
you have to
consumer.
pass that on to the consumer. So we don't take shipping. Like, we don't charge the shipping.
Yeah.
We get charged that. So
Yeah.
we only ever just.
But then
pass that cost.
If that gets passed on to the consumer,
Yep.
then the consumer has to fucking make that up somewhere, or he's just taking an extra loss. So in regards to, you know, like the dealer is not going to take a loss on it. It's always going to come down to the consumer. And then if the consumer is running a business with that product, then that product cost has to be put in. So when
Yeah, but you only buy a machine every 5 years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's just...
yeah, but look at how much they've gone up over 5 years. And if you base all your profits and losses and shit, so the way we work out our guys' rates now is we take you know, your vehicle cost, your machine cost, your hand tool cost and all that, and we break it down so we can replace that over, you know, our loan terms pretty much, and like other formulas that we do. And then if you're not going to do those price increases to meet the cost, then when you get to the end of that loan term and you have to upgrade your machine, then you're going to be short. So it's like, you know, you take the fucking loss.
I understand, but like, I'm still saying that with these annual price increases, a certain amount of it has to be built into your initial quoting price.
Yeah.
Even if you... Let's say you got business advice from somewhere and it was like, on a $60 client, you're going to do a $2.50 or a $5 increase every 12 months.
Yeah.
And you know that information, right? You're ready to start your business. You know, you're almost better off going in there with that knowledge and saying, well, I'll just quote it at $70 off the bat.
Yeah. I mean, you could
and
always...
then you shouldn't have to be increasing that price for a minimum of 12 months.
You could always use that as a selling point and say, this is my price, your prices will not change for 2 years. That's a guarantee.
Look, I used to do that.
And then like you would have people pay that a little bit extra maybe, but they can be guaranteed that that's what they're going to be paying this year and next year.
So I never fucked around with that in the residential game. I just think when you're talking residentials, when you're talking at 30 minutes to 1 hour on a job, $2.50 is negligible. Yeah. Even over 160 clients.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's just... Well, maybe not over 160.
I was going to say,
maybe not over
my calculator.
Maybe not over 160.
Yeah.
But you know, like, I still think if you were doing 160 residential clients, there would be that much turnover of new business that you're probably naturally in building some of this new, you know, pricing structure into brand new business. But
and that's why I'm saying, like, that's why we choose like a really high growth period to do the price increase, because if we take a loss on a customer and they're like, fucking catch you later, there's always something else I can slip in there. There's fucking miles of room to play with. Like, there's people on all the Facebook groups every day for, you know, weeks after Christmas, people are like, looking for someone to do my regular lawn, because this is where people drop the ball. And we always spoke about, like, the peak of summer is the time to target certain customers, like commercials and villages, because this is where people fail. Like, this is where people can't fucking step up and actually fulfill their commitments. And that's where people should be taking advantage and really hammering. I know.
Absolutely, with new... look, I 100% agree on new
and it's
business.
hard too, like, you really have to put in, because, you know, if you've got an existing business, you're on fire too. So you have to fucking really put in on those first couple of summers to get that clientele like really high. Then winter's just a fucking breeze. But I don't know, man. I don't know about your theory on the. Like, I get it. Like, and I do think like you could use it as a selling point, not having a good price straight up.
I don't think use it as a selling point. I don't know that you ever look.
That would be
I'll
attractive
give you
to me. Like, if my pool guy was like, fucking, you know, this is my price. It's a little bit higher than the rest.
Well, put it this way:
but-
if my pool guy right now said, "Oh, hey, we're just increasing the price," I'd probably go shopping around for a new pool guy, eh?
Yeah, but you haven't had your pool guy for that long, have you?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, if it was in...
Yeah, but...
I mean, we got our pool in August. If he... or say it was finished in September.
Yeah.
If he came at me any time within that period again until September this year and said, hey, the invoice is going to increase by say $5 or $10 a month or whatever it is that I don't even know what the fuck we pay.
Yeah.
But I reckon if he caught me on the wrong foot, I'd potentially be like, Vic, look for someone else.
Yeah.
Potentially. So
depends if he's doing a good job or not.
Does depend. Yes,
really
it
does.
depends a lot, and that's also my point. Is with our industry, is if you're not doing a good job, I just don't support anyone charging big dollars.
Yeah, I mean, and look, as an example, our pool guy, he's a fucking awesome guy, great to talk to, but he's left my filter off twice, and that's after he's done a service that cost me like $160. And like he's forgotten to turn the filter back on, and my fucking pool started to turn. I've had to go out, fucking flick the filter on, run the fucking cleaner a bit more, and use power to run it over a couple of days to clean it all up.
Yeah.
So if he was to throw a fucking price increase at me right now, I'd be like, nah, sorry, bro, because you fucking left my filter off. Like, if he was doing everything sweet, like I get that. If he was doing everything sweet and there's no hassles, everything's smooth and easy, then I would probably accept that. Increase.
And look, the whole price increase discussion is not to stir up any controversy.
No.
I think it's a good topic to talk about so that people can, like we always say, don't take our word for it. Listen to the information.
We're completely, we're almost on opposites about how to do it. Like
Absolutely.
we agree on, like I totally understand where you're coming from with your points of view. But yeah, ours are a little bit different. So
Yeah, of course.
That's how we fucking roll.
Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, you only ever want to be learning from other people's mistakes as well.
Yeah.
Like you, obviously, yes, you have to learn from your own mistakes, but it's a lot better if you can get through without making those mistakes.
Yeah.
So,
like how I said before, not knowing my numbers I don't see that as a mistake. I just see it as
and look, some of that is
bump.
just being a young business, mate. Like at the end of the day, I've said it a million times. If you're at home at 12 o'clock, regardless of how much money you made, you can always make more.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at it, if you look at your annual figures and you go, fuck, I made X amount, and then you look at your actual amount of hours that you worked,
Yeah.
and you let's say you have a life and you do other things, then you can be like, that's really great.
Yeah.
But if you look at that annual figure and then you go, and this is how much time I fucking sat on my ass wanking or bloody doing something completely irrelevant, you're like, fuck, I made all this money, but imagine how much more I could have made.
Yeah.
And so, I've always kind of looked at it like that.
Well,
and,
that's
and it's the same. Sorry, to cut you
No,
off. It's the same thing as ride on mowing.
Yeah.
I charge $240 an hour, or I charge fucking $1 million. Well, Greenscape Solutions could come underneath you all day long.
Yeah.
At a price that we felt comfortable with, because if we didn't do that, people like Rusty, they might be weeding a garden instead of sitting on that mower.
Yeah.
And, if it's the sake of $10 an hour,
Yeah.
good, give it here.
Yeah, fucking no. I totally get that, man. I think some of the prices I've seen are incredibly like. I'm all for it if you can get it, but it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know who would pay. Like, I couldn't go to the guy that I'm subcontracting for now and give him some of the prices that I've seen. They just don't make sense. They don't make sense for him because, especially when people are looking at doing like council contracts and stuff or subbing for those, everyone's got to make money. And that's how I looked at it when I was working, because this is my first time subbing for a decent sized business, and I was kind of lost. And then I spoke to Dale. I actually spoke to him a long time ago about this, and he showed me how he works out his figures, and I used the same sort of formula, and yeah, it came out to something that I was actually quite happy with, and yeah, I've fucking gone ahead with it, and he's accepted it. He's making money, I'm making money, and I'm actually having fun doing it because it's fucking, like you said, man. What do you want to do? You want to fucking be fucking ass up in a garden weeding, or do you want to be on a zero turn?
Yeah, and there is really just so many examples in everyday life that, I mean, put it this way, right? You got a guy like Rusty who makes his money, you know, doesn't have a family, he's a little bit older now, so he's not just like hanging out with mates and stuff.
Yeah.
Me and Vicky are sitting in the lounge room one night, 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, hey Vic, we got any ice cream? She's like, no. I was like, well, I feel like some ice cream, right? So this is just me being in one of my moments.
Yeah.
Vicky's like, I kind of feel like some ice cream too. And we've had a look at Uber Eats, and it's going to cost us something like $80 to get some ice cream, or 60. I don't know.
Yeah, it's fucking probably 80. Was it Cold Rock?
Well, I don't even know. It was a while ago now. I fucking strolled down to Rusty's room, Hey, Rust, do you want some ice cream, or like $20 or something? And he's like, oh yeah, all right. I was like, can you go grab it? Fuck yeah. And off he goes.
Yeah.
And look, the example is just that one man's trash, another man's treasure.
Yeah.
Someone is always going to do this.
Yeah.
So, I think everyone just always needs to be weighing up what it is that they can lose.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think that it comes back to if you're happy with that price, then
Yeah, fucking oath.
It's one of those things. Like a lot of people ask me about pricing and things like that. I'm like, I don't know the specifics of the job. Once you finish working out your numbers, are you happy with that money? Like, are you happy to do a hard day's work and maybe have like...
And look, here's another thing too, right?
Because this is not an easy fucking industry to work in. Like, it's a full-on industry all the time.
Look, it is a horrible industry to work in. It is either too hot, too cold, too dry, or too wet.
Yeah.
There is like a couple of months of the year where you have like a really beautiful spring or autumn day.
The Goldilocks zone?
Yeah, like there's, there'll be only a few scenarios in a year where it's not too hot, it's not too windy, the sky is crisp and blue, and you actually, you're mowing a buffalo lawn or something, and you're like, you know what? This is fucking excellent.
Yeah.
And then you look at what you just went through this morning.
Yeah.
BJ had to go to Kmart to buy clothes so that he could come and do this podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I literally had to fucking pour water out of my new boots because none of this fucking rain was forecast for today. There was no forecast rain for today, and I was just like cruising along. I got through I think I did like 7 parks, maybe 8 parks, and I got to my last 2, and it was like fucking.
And like I talked to Will from Mel Merch, cheap plug, and he's down in Victoria, right? And I was telling him that I think you're away at this point in time, but like right around Christmas, I was just I had a shower or whatever. It was maybe 8 o'clock at night, maybe even 9 o'clock. We got the aircon going, and I went outside to have a lung buster, and I was like, holy shit. And I ended up having a look at the temperature, It was 27 degrees, but feels like 30.8. This is at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And so, you know, some really extreme conditions over here at the moment with that heat.
I can only imagine. When we were in Vanuatu, it was pumping, man. Like the heat was crazy, but the humidity wasn't as bad as it would have been here because there was no rain. It was quite funny driving around the islands. It was quite dry. Like I thought it was super tropical, always raining, afternoon storms and shit. And the only rain we actually saw was when we were coming back into Brisbane on the last night. Lou was fucking out in the bed with fucking Kofifi 19. She was cooked.
You do stuff to her when she was like...
No, there was too many fucking kids in her room.
Kids, turn around.
Yeah.
It's like when me and Russell when we used to like use the grinder and the twins were like really little, be like, all right, turn around now.
Yeah, no. So she actually got out of bed and we both watched the storm as we rolled back into Brisbane. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I missed out. Like the whole craziness. I missed out on all of it. And now I'm doing the waterfront. I'm cruising along. And there's fucking trees as wide as this room. Just
bro,
dude, the
my fucking trampoline floated 50 meters away into a creek.
I can't believe that video because one of the things that fucked up when we were on the boat was we got social media package and we were like, yeah, sweet, that'll be enough. But you couldn't open videos, you couldn't open photos. All you could do was like fucking read. And then
read?
Yeah, the picture would be blank. I'm like, how am I supposed to jerk off to this? So I just we had to pay like $240 for internet. And I was just like, ugh.
Shit.
Yuck.
Yeah,
man.
So, yeah, look, there's a lot to absorb in today's episode. I know it's a little bit back and forth, but I always do hope that the listeners find at least some insight.
Yeah, just a smidge. Just a smidge and a half.
Into what, and you know, if comment publicly or on YouTube, you know, what you think is a good idea for price increases. And you know, I think ultimately I think it all helps the industry.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, everyone's business is so different.
Yeah.
That, you know, and there are people out there working on volumes too. Like if you look at someone like Tyson from EPMS.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Who has, you know, 17 workers.
Yeah.
They can work off volumes. And we've talked about Skyline and
green options,
all of these other guys. And even just have a look at, I've heard Nanki talk about it, but what you're doing now with the other guys, I mean, they're working off like, 3 cents a square meter or something?
Something like that.
You know, and that stuff doesn't really add up if you're looking at an 800 square block.
Yeah. And I'm at a good advantage because I know around about what he's getting for his work. So I know where the boundaries is. I know how much, like I don't know how much he pays his guys.
And you even need to think about it too. He just picked up this brand new contract.
Yeah.
In the thick of all of this crap.
Yeah.
If he had taken that over in March and we weren't going through this crazy weather, then you might not even be able to get the dollars that you're asking.
Exactly.
So
that's true.
You have to apply all of these scenarios to people's real life situations.
Yeah.
And not only does your situation change as a business, but same with that customer.
Yeah.
You know, they might have just got a divorce, or their kid may have just fucking needed to get braces that's costing them $5,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of stuff there, but
did you used to email or would you mention it in person? Depending on the customer, or is that?
Look, mentioning things in person is pretty good, but I don't know that. Look, I love putting people on the spot. I love making people feel uncomfortable, not just for the heck of it. Only like arsehole people.
Yeah.
But I do know that sometimes what that leads to is, you know, people potentially agreeing and then just pulling the pin later.
Yeah.
So I think a nice email with a heads up, and you know, I know text message these days is just so prominent, but I still don't know that I think that a text message is the best way to approach.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of people don't even read emails? Like, so I avoid sending any correspondence with invoices because I don't think that.
No, I think you're correct. People don't. They look at that invoice and they're like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah,
I'll open that up mid-month.
Yeah, I got to pay this, and normally it'll be the invoice sort of number and shit in the subject and who it's from, and you don't want the subject line shouldn't be fucking 50 paragraphs long. So yeah, that's one little hot tip. I
think
I feel when I've done that in the past, that the actual the basis of the fucking email just gets lost.
Yeah, I think if you've got a very typical residential mowing business, most of it is done via text message.
Yeah.
And so a nice generic text message, not over the top either. Like the last thing that you want to get as a customer is some over the top written bullshit from a mowing contractor. Let's face it. We are real businesses, but there is no way to just be so over the top.
Yeah. We would just keep it basic, I think. Like,
yeah.
Hey, blah, blah, blah. Just letting you know that as of this date, we're having to put our prices up due to these factors.
And I probably wouldn't try and justify it too much either. Yeah. Like, don't ever go on about, like, I don't think...
Well, we don't suck about it. We just say due to increases in insurances, etc.
Yeah.
Because insurance is one thing that you just can't not have. So the fact that fucking every 6 months they put a fucking price rise and work cover and shit like that stuff all jumped up. So yeah, I think things like that need to be taken into account when you're actually looking at doing price increases, because some of the fucking price increases that they've thrown at us is pretty big, like $40 and $50 increase every fortnight. It's quite a big, that's good. It's got to get passed on. Like you can't keep absorbing $40 here, $30 here, $20 every time you fill up a jerry can, especially now because I'm chewing through fuel now with the boys. Like everyone's got zero turns now and they're going hard out. So
can I ask you about a scenario, right? I'm not picking on you.
No, go for it.
But let's say you got a text message from your pool guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, look, due to this and this, chemicals, we just need to lift the price $10 per visit. And then so you absorb it.
Yeah.
And then 12 months later, you get another one, but you find out that he's knocked off every day at like 11 or 12 o'clock. What do you think about that scenario?
Well, I'm kind of fine with that. If the justification is the price of chemicals and the price of insurance and things like that, like that's a justification for the price rise. I think him being a lazy cunt shouldn't come into it. Like if he was saying,
because if that person worked a full day, right?
Well, it depends.
Like most working people do.
If it's a legitimate, like if he's being truthful and saying, hey, I have to increase your prices, because the service isn't, like my service, it doesn't matter if he finishes at fucking 10:30 in the morning or 4:30 in the afternoon.
See, it does feel like to me, that matters, because what they're doing is, rather than them working an honest day's work, they're just stinging you for their time off.
You know what that sounds like?
What?
The people at villages, when it's quiet, if you don't have a fucking tool in your hand and you're not moving around, then they get cranky. That's what it's.
Well, they wouldn't like me at the moment.
That's what it sounds like, though. Like
but do you understand that in any way? Or?
I do understand that you're saying, like, is he increasing your price just so he can get home earlier?
Yeah.
Much. But if he's saying that, hey, the cost of
who knows at the end of the day?
But see, I would be a dick and I would check that. Because I'm a business owner, I know the price cycles and shit like that. I know when shit goes up, and if he's saying like, fuel's gone up, my insurances have gone up, I'm like, yeah, that's justified. If he says my chemical prices have gone up, then I would probably look into it a little bit. But $10, to me, like, he's fucking saving me countless hours a fucking month doing what he does. So I probably wouldn't. I'd just be like, yeah, sweet, that's
Okay.
good, man. That's honest too. Like,
No, it's fine. That's what you gotta. Yeah, you gotta answer it.
If I was doing, if I was doing a spray job every couple of weeks, and I said, hey, look, price of chemicals have gone up. I'm gonna put it up $10. If they argued about it, I'd be like, well, fucking catch you later. Straight away, I'm like, well, I'm not taking the fucking hit because you guys don't think that it's justifiable. But if it's a legitimate rise, I get it. But I do get if some cunt's just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll throw an extra $10 on here on all 5 of my customers, and then you know, I can go home and play COD or jerk off or whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
That's a different scenario. That's when you really like.
Look, I get we're all business owners.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to.
I get that you're all business owners, but we're all a part of this same cycle.
Yeah.
Like, at the moment now in Australia, if you want to buy a house, apparently you need to have an income of like 300,000.
Yeah, it's fucking.
So when, you know, and it's a ripple effect. This person's charging more. This person's charging more. We're charging more. Now you can't buy a banana for less than fucking $10.
Yeah.
When is it going to stop? And I'm not saying that it has to stop with us.
No.
Because that's never going to happen. We are there at the bottom of the food chain.
Yeah.
But everyone should have a pretty good understanding of how this is actually all playing out in everyone's minds.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Where does it stop? Like, who is?
Ultimately, it doesn't stop with us.
It's a consumer. That's where it stops, because they can obviously.
Yeah.
You know, the more people who stop services and things like that.
I mean, I've even thought to myself, I need to just start a fucking freight company.
Oh, geez.
Because I can make $1 million probably.
Yeah.
You know, it's gotten that bad.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
You know, like our handling, and like I said, we pass the cost on to the consumer anyway.
Yeah.
And it's got nothing to do with our retail pricing. But
And do they kick up a stink?
people, they go absolutely crazy about shipping prices.
Okay.
But our hands are tied. Like, we can't, unless they place that order, there is no business.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I've seen people drive 3 hours away to go to a local dealer to pick up something instead of ordering it from me,
Yeah, okay.
which is fine. You know, so but it is just one of those things as well. Like, you know, there can be other good ways, and I'm only talking about annual price rises.
Yeah.
You know, people have, times change. You have to lift your prices.
But I do think, like, it's all customer specific again.
It is customer specific, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Hey George, I need to charge you an extra $5.
Yeah.
Rah. Yeah, no worries, fucking rah. And then it
I don't
might
know
be
why
like,
when you said, hey George, I fucking looked at the door like fucking some cunt's gonna be
but
standing
you know,
there.
it could be like, hey Lisa, you know, due to this, we need to do this, this, and this, and
Yeah.
it might be just like, you know, she
Yeah.
might be on a rag and be like, no.
Fucking hell. Well,
That was a bad example,
Yeah,
eh?
it's a pretty bad example.
I own a business. All right,
Yeah.
we might be rambling now.
Unprofessional, fuck.
All right, so stay tuned for future episodes. We don't have anything in the pipeline, eh?
Yeah, we do. We got Baz coming up in February. We're gonna fucking hang out with him, have a pash.
Baz from Ego.
Baz from Ego. And I definitely
Mr.
think
Russell?
Duncan
Russell,
I've
that
talked
is?
to Uncle Dunkle, and he's on the fence. I don't know when he's coming up next, so I will
February.
recommend him in here. He's coming up February as well.
Yeah, Febs.
All right, cool. Maybe we can get him. Maybe we can get.
Which is getting closer, right? 2 weeks
It is
away?
getting close. It's crazy how fast the year's gone.
2.5.
Mate,
How fast the year's gone, it's the fucking 12.
dude, it feels like the fucking.
I feel like Christmas was months ago.
It really does feel like it was crazy. Like, we spent 8 days on that fucking ship, and it felt like it was like 2 or 3 days. It was fucking nuts, but it feels like a lifetime ago.
I'm ready for the kids to go back to school so I can actually, like, make a phone call.
Yeah.
Every phone call that I get, I have to go, like, I'll have to apologise. my kids are around me.
That's alright. I called a call centre the other day and I could hear fucking dogs barking, there were kids playing, and I was like, oh, that's pretty mad, work from home. You think you get a fucking, you think you get a dungeon, fucking Gary's got his own dungeon.
Yeah.
I think if you're a call centre, and you thought it'd be a requirement.
Probably is. Anyways, we are going to sign out. Hope everyone has an awesome week ahead. We'll be back next week with more action.
And more microphones.
And more microphones, yes.
Oh, hopefully.
Maybe less clothes though.
Yeah,
Nice
well, maybe I
bracelet.
can. Do you like the shirt?
Mate, I fucking absolutely adore that.
Oh,
You should adore it.
he's just adores it.
I don't know about the pants though, they're pretty whack.
Yeah, I know, my dick feels
I'd
weird.
rip them off with my mouth.
Yeah.
Until next time, I am Matt Catchpro. He's at TVL, and we're out of time. Thank you.
Peace!
Hit the music, butter.
Wait. How did I forget that?
It's been a month.
It's been a month. I had COVID, man.
Yeah, long COVID makes you dumb as fuck too.
Does it really?
Yeah, I had it.
Fuck. I couldn't get much dumber. Wow. Love y'all.